Thank you.
Hey, David, how are you?
Good. How are you? I see you're home too, huh?
David or Marcus, can you say something so I can confirm my connection?
I just heard you and then you cut off.
All right, I gotta check my speakers because I see your lips moving and I'm not hearing it.
No, you're good now. I can hear you. Can you hear me now? Hello? 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 Can you hear
Try that
yet?
again.
You got us now? Nope.
Now I can read your lips, but I couldn't hear you.
Michael? Michael? You got anything yet? Nope.
I don't know what's going on. I see my microphone's working. I see your lips moving. I see that you're unmuted. You can hear
Yep.
me, I'm guessing, because you're talking to me.
Yep.
Let's try it with just the speak.
Is it your
See,
earpiece?
I think it's the earbuds, yeah, because I heard you just now over the over the speakers on the computer.
It's probably your Bluetooth.
Yeah.
You have to go the old-fashioned way.
I think I might.
You need another sound check, Michael?
Ship is gonna go. Bye.
Morning. Start the Fire Prevention and Public Safety Commission. It's 5:09. Um. Chris? Mr. David?
Present. Yep.
Mr. Hyde?
Present.
Chairman?
Present.
Mr. Fanny?
Present.
Mr. Patarino?
Present.
Vice Chairman?
Present.
Mr. Porter?
Present.
Commissioner Slaughter, are you with us today? Okay, Commissioner Wagner?
Here.
Mr. Fanny?
Here.
Yes, we do have a new commissioner. One was appointed for the remodeler position. That would be Lane Slaughter. And the information, I thought he was gonna be here today. He might just be running late.
Yeah. Lane Slaughter. Board review with me, 24 minutes.
Yeah. Did anybody have any corrections to those that need to be made?
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay. Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Christie,
Yes.
Mr. Davidson,
Yes. Yes.
Chairman,
Yes.
Mr. Fanny.
I'm gonna abstain since I was not at the meeting.
Okay. Commissioner Patarino.
Yes. I need to abstain.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
All right, 2 abstains. Lost my place. I'm sorry, Commissioner Fanny.
Gotta keep saying.
Okay. Patarino, we'll get you Vice Chairman.
Yes.
I did not hear the question, Des.
It's for approving the minutes.
Oh, the electrical code update committee. I'll let you handle that. I need to plug in.
We're at the minutes right now.
Ah,
Review of the minutes. It was a vote to move those forward.
yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Porter,
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner,
Yes.
Commissioner Zanger.
Yes.
All right, those are approved.
AHS reports and updates.
So did everybody have a chance to look over the variance report that was attached to the invite? Does anybody have any questions or concerns over that?
Nope.
No state building commissioner interpretation for public for the time that we put the agenda together. Rulemaking updates. Electrical code continues to move forward. We will not be having a June meeting of the electrical code committee. They will be reconvening in July. At the next meeting, they're going to be looking over their individual assignments and comparing the current code to the new model code to see what changes are there so that we can start really getting into the fiscal impact. Building and fire code, Chairman, you want to give an update there? You want me to?
You can.
Okay. Building and fire code continue to move along. The schedule for those is up on the website. The next meeting of the building and fire code will be a joint meeting to discuss several items that are common to both codes to try and get them to line up with each other.
Is that one question? Is that gonna be, do you anticipate that being all day joint? Or I think when I heard it last, it was gonna be like start at a certain time and end it.
We're gonna start normally when we would start for the building at 9 AM.
Uh-huh.
And we will go until we.
Okay, with both.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
meeting on at the same time.
Okay,
So fire and building are both gonna meet June
Okay.
13th
all
at
right,
9 AM.
perfect.
And we will go until we are completed with the chapters that we want to cover that are intermittent.
Okay, because my intention is to be there for that, especially that joint conversation. Yes.
Lift device update community continues to move along as well. We are currently looking at, I believe it's A17, parts 1 and 2 still, and A10.4.
And A 90.1, and we're also reviewing the previous LSA document from 2022.
Right, and so all of those are still open, all of those can still have submissions to them, feel free to submit them, via that code comment post form. Rule readoptions. We have various rules under Title 675 that were in the process of being readopted. That document was also included in your meeting materials. I believe that we are at the final adoption phase of that. So does anybody have any questions?
You want me to comment on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
These are just the rule readoptions that we spoke about in April. They were put up for 30 days for public comment with the Indiana Register. We received no comment to any of the shared inboxes that DHS, with building commission, legal, and then nothing by mail either. This document, the final readopted rule that's in front of you, is exactly the same rules and sections that were in the one you approved for the public comment period. So just moving forward with readopting those rules so they don't expire. So we don't have a gap in the law as well as the building, fire, and that.
Thank you.
Okay. You just give us an update.
I believe that you do need to take an action.
Yeah, you do need to say, yeah, you need somebody, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Chris,
Yes.
Commissioner Davidson,
Yes.
Commissioner Height,
Yes.
Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Panicki,
Yes.
Commissioner Patarino,
Yes.
Vice Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Porter,
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders.
Yes.
All right, those are readopted. And that brings us to the final rulemaking update. The fee rule has gone to SBA review. There is a public hearing on that, or there's a hearing on that, June 11th. Thank you. Sign that, actually. Before we move into table variances though, 4.4 is on there. Obviously, we approved that last meeting, but I did understand that because it's the same.
Before it is.
I do like
You say 44 is on.
4.4 is on.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
We ready to do variances?
Yes.
All right. First up, we have tabled variances. First one on the agenda is 240231 Sucking International Fort Wayne. The proponent requests tabling for this one, I believe.
Second.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Crisp,
Yes.
Commissioner Davidson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hyde,
Yes.
Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Patriano,
Yes.
Vice Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Porter,
Yes.
Wagner,
Yes.
Commissioner Zachary.
Yes.
That one is tabled. Next up, we have 240324 downstairs security door Evansville.
Any proponent for 240324 downstairs security door in Evansville?
It was withdrawal. Okay. Next up, we have 240327 Point Biofarm in Indianapolis.
Is anyone here for 240327 Point Biopharma? Going online?
Motion to table.
Second.
Commissioner Cook,
Is this, were they here last time?
No, they were not.
They did not.
Okay, last month.
Yeah, so, yes.
okay, Commissioner Crisp,
Yes.
Commissioner Davidson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hyde,
Yes.
Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Panic,
Yes.
Commissioner Patriano,
Yes.
Vice Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Porter,
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner,
Yes.
Commissioner Sand.
Yes.
Was that their second or third?
Second.
Second.
Next up, we have 240338 Firebrand Ministries in Linville.
You know, they're table.
They are requesting that it be untabled, actually.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Roger was just here.
No, Roger Layton is going to speak on behalf.
What is it?
I don't know.
Want to circle back to this one?
Yes.
He was just there. Yeah. Just here?
All right, next up, we have 240339 Marble Home Fairmount.
Is there anyone here for 240339 Marble Home?
Move to table.
Second.
Okay.
That's
Commissioner Cook?
That's two in a row.
Two, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Commissioner Crisp,
Yes.
Commissioner Davidson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hyde,
Yes.
Chairman. Yes. Commissioner Panic,
Yes.
Commissioner Patriano,
Yes.
Vice Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Porter,
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner,
Yes.
Commissioner Max.
Yes.
Next up, we have 240445 Phoenix Portland International Harvester.
Is there anyone here for 240445 Phoenix Fort Wayne?
Roger two.
Okay, we can circle back to that one too.
What about 44? Did I miss something there?
44 was actually approved at last meeting, but it got tabled and then untabled and then there was.
Okay, thank you, thank you. I thought I was going. Nice.
240452 Tent Greenwood.
Is there anyone here for 240452? Tent in Greenwood, Indiana? I know.
Move to table.
Second.
Was this the third time for that?
No, it's the second time.
I don't think it's like, because they were only referred and, okay.
On the main one, yeah.
Okay,
Second.
okay, Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Crisp,
Yes.
Commissioner Davidson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hyde,
Yes.
Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Benke,
Yes.
Mr. Paterino,
Yes.
Vice Chairman,
Yes.
Mr. Porter,
Yes.
Mr. Wagner,
Yes.
Mr. Zane.
Yes.
Stable. We have 240453 A and B plans plus addition in Indianapolis.
Somebody move.
Advancing our campaign goals. This was Christina's project. She wasn't able to make it today. I've got some handouts here that might help expedite process. Wow. So just briefly, quick review. This facility grows plants and flowers. They have a potting operation. They have greenhouses on the site where they grow the plants. The attachment you have, it's got some photos of that. So they are, the project involves an addition of 3,612 square feet, adding to the existing building, not counting the greenhouses, of 7,860. So we've got just over 11,000 square foot of fire area. The new addition would be classified as an S1 occupancy. I'm sorry, S2 occupancy. It's for storage of the vehicles, delivery vehicles. The variance was tabled because there was a discussion about whether or not their vehicles would meet the commercial motor vehicle definition in the newer code, starting in the 2015 edition of the code. They added, right now, there's no definition, so it's pretty loose as to what constitutes a commercial vehicle versus a passenger vehicle or something less than a full-size commercial vehicle. That's defined as a vehicle weight rating of 10,000 pounds or more, or is designed to transport 16 or more passengers, including the driver. So these vehicles do not qualify as commercial vehicles under the motor vehicles under the 2015 code. In the attachment you have, we've got the registrations of all the vehicles they use. They are less than 10,000 pounds. That happens to also be the threshold for our commercial driver's license. So there's some logic behind that. So for the first variance, then we're requesting a fire area of less than 12,000 square feet instead of 5,000 under the current code. Under the current code, these could be classified as commercial motor vehicles, again, because of a lack of any definition. So we're requesting a variance to allow this addition to be made to the existing building without a separation, and that would meet the 2015 and following editions of the International Building Code as a maximum non-sprinkler fire area.
Will they agree to a stipulation that they will never have larger than 10,000 pound vehicles in those garages?
Absolutely.
I mean, they're expanding, growth is good. But they'll agree to that by not
Yes.
having semis per se?
Oh, yeah, I mean, this is a small garage. They wouldn't be able to fit anything other than these.
Several of these vehicles are 8, 9, 10 years old, based on the registrations.
Yeah, you have the owner here, John Hawkinson.
I do have one other truck. And it's a 16,000 pound truck. It will not fit in these garages that I'm building. Because it's 12 foot tall. These doors are only 10, the garage doors are 10 by 10. Therefore, you could not put a bigger truck in there. Nor is the building the garage is not deep enough as well. But the height restriction on the door will keep a larger truck from being in there.
How tall is your ceilings in that structure?
In the new ceiling structure, I believe they're 14 feet tall because they have to tie, I wanted 12. They have to be 14 to make the roof line match in with the existing. But the doors will be 12 feet tall. I have no reason for bigger trucks. I've been there, I've done that years ago. I used to have 25,000 pound trucks. The cost on them was horrendous. I've downsized to these little Ford transit vans is what they are. And on that note, we do no service work there whatsoever. All of our vans go to Don Hines. There's a truck at Don Hines every Friday because they're on, I have 6 of these trucks and they're on a 6-week rotation. Every 6 weeks, another truck goes in on Friday. And we do not work on Fridays other than miscellaneous stuff. We're basically open Monday through Thursday. You know, and we're not open to the public as well. You know, we're strictly wholesale.
So I'm good with what street you're driving down. Makes a lot of logic.
So your intent is to meet the 2024, is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, I think we had copied the 2024.
Yeah.
The definition first went into the 2015, but yes.
So the stipulation be there. Meet it.
Correct.
Fire mode.
Correct.
Just verifying that.
I'll make a motion to approve A and B with the stipulation that vehicles shall continue to not be classified as commercial vehicles. Declaration of the occupancy. Unless there's a code change that would allow that in the future.
I'll second that.
Okay, so it was, vehicles not classified as commercial vehicles.
I would say,
Sorry.
David Carpenter, Indianapolis Fire Department.
yes, sir.
Was there a motion to approve A and B or just A?
It was, I'm sorry, we didn't hear from you, so go ahead.
Well, I think B was about a firewall separation. Is that correct?
Now, B is to permit the allowable area for the building to be based upon the permanent structures, or I should say the conventional structures on the site versus and not count the greenhouses in terms of the total allowable area. So it's a Chapter 5 variance. So I mean, you could say, well, yeah, we could put a firewall to separate the greenhouses, but that variance request is saying that those are just for growing plants. It's a U occupancy, so there's some logic in saying, well, we're just going to count allowable area based on the other structures on the site that are non-greenhouse.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I don't have any objections to either of those.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to state also, and maybe I'm offering too much information, but sometimes that gets me in trouble. But right now, I've been there 37 years. The fire department comes out every year, does their annual inspection. I've never had any issues, and currently, all 5 of these trucks are parked in my building right now. So all I'm trying to do is get a more
Illegal.
organized area for the vehicles that are already parked in there. And while I'm doing this, as the new building would go up, everything else will be updated as well.
There's actually, there's
Right
actually.
now I have, lit, what do you call them, the, above the doors, it's fire escape, not fire escape. The lit sign that, you know, for exiting, lit exit signs.
Exit lights.
And those would all be updated to, not only lit, but emergency lighting, because I do not have that right now. And I would be putting that in.
Well, that's up to the fire department as far as the big road.
Right, I'm just stating that, I'm trying to bring this whole building up to the most economical and safest way for, you know, all purpose.
I think last month we were looking for an opinion from the Indianapolis Fire Department. I think that was a year, right? That's what we were waiting for.
We were waiting for that definition of the commercial.
Yeah.
Right.
Those two things. So they're probably ready to approve without more conversation.
Yeah, the motion was no vehicle exceeds the commercial building class or commercial vehicle. No vehicle will exceed the commercial vehicle classification for the duration of the occupancy unless the code changes to allow it.
But that needs to be, we currently we don't have a definition in Indiana for commercial vehicles. So it needs to stay.
The 2024 code that they are utilizing.
Or can does that.
Got
Are you gonna store more than 5 commercial vehicles in this?
5 vehicles is nothing.
Is that the maximum you'd store in there?
How many vehicles is this? Will this hold 5 vehicles?
It holds 5. Right now, I have space for 5 and 2 trucks have to back end to end. And so this would allow me to have all 5 trucks next to each other. There would not be any more room there because the garages that I have right now will be, that's my whole purpose, is converting them into storage area. You know, the existing doors, if need be, I can take them down. You know, but I'll do whatever I got to do, so.
Do we have a second on that motion?
He was.
Cool.
Mr. Davis.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Chris? Commissioner Chris? Okay, Commissioner Davidson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hyde,
Yes.
Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Bennington,
Yes.
Commissioner Catarina,
Yeah.
Vice Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Porter,
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner,
Yes.
Commissioner Zhang.
Yes.
All right, that was approved with the conditions.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Keeps going here. Do we have anybody here for 240456 Indian Trail Furniture House?
Tim Callis, J&T Consulting. This was tabled last month. I think there was some confusion on the Google Earth in regards to if they already had started construction on the building. And also there was a mezzanine shown on the drawing that took the fire area in the middle edition, which is now labeled on your new drawing number 2. So that mezzanine's been removed. So to go over this, the upside down L gray shaded roof building is existing. The white building that was assumed to be under construction is actually a building that's going to be demolished. And the new Google Earth map shows the layout of the new additions. And so we'll have the existing building is 7,500 square feet. We're adding 4,500 to that upside down L building with a gray roof, then a 3-hour firewall, then the building number, or the addition number 2, which is in the middle, will be 12,000 square feet. The mezzanine's been removed, and then another 3-hour firewall, and then they'll have the warehouse addition, which is 6,400 square feet.
So addition number one is coming off of the gray roofs. L-shaped.
Yeah, yes, that white roof building is being demolished. And I had to mark up the other buildings too that are being removed from site.
And what are we getting in exchange for not doing a sprinkler system here?
Yeah, so, and so how large is their woodworking facility? How large is that area?
Well, the total area is, it's a 23,750 square foot addition. And as previous variances have been approved by staff, we use a 2012 edition of NFPA 664 with the dust collection system as our alternative.
Is there water supply in this area?
No, they're very rural. It's just out in more or less cornfields.
Did we get a price on that for a sprinkler system?
No, we never have to because like I said, staff always reviews these and approves them.
Well, obviously staff isn't reviewing this one, so we're asking.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why staff sent it to the commission. Actually, I assume they didn't see the firewalls. But
The issue is, that mezzanine threw it over that 12,000 square feet threshold, but now since he's removing that mezzanine, it's no longer an issue. That's why I was referred to the commission, because he had that mezzanine up there. Which would require the building to be sprinkled.
Well, no, it still needs to be sprinkled because it has over 2,500.
So if the staff was reviewing this without the mezzanine, you would recommend?
Right, because he has that woodworking, that NFPA 664 dust collector system for the woodworking area. And he has the 3-hour wall in between each fire area to knock it below that 12,000 square feet threshold. The mezzanine was what caused it to be over the 12,000 square foot fire area, but he's saying that they are removing the mezzanine, so now it's no longer an issue.
No need for variance.
Well, you still do it.
Variance. It's just, the reason the staff pushed it to the commission was because of the inclusion of the mezzanine, and now they're taking that out. So if this had gone back to the staff, they would approve it at this point.
Yeah.
They would have granted the variance.
They would have granted.
And it would have been a variance determination. Okay.
But since it's already to the commission, we can. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve with the condition that there is no mezzanine included in the design.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Chris,
Yes.
Commissioner Davidson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hyde,
Yes.
Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Bennett,
Yes.
Commissioner Patarano,
Yes.
Vice Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Porter,
Yes.
Mr. Wagner,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders.
Yes.
All right, I believe that still leaves us with 240338 Firebrand Ministries.
Roger Lehman, our Lehman and Son Consulting from Evansville. I did provide the information, chapter 34 review, code section showing group R3, information, a floor plan that shows location of smoke alarms, emergency lighting, emergency exit lights. And I guess that was, I'll give you a picture of the front of it. And we have the structural letter from previous application. And I'm here to answer any questions. If anybody has any. Hush, over the crowd.
Having a hard time doing that.
That was too far away. I can't read it. Okay, with my glasses, this one's hokey.
If you want me to run through the scoring, I can do that.
Please do.
Basically building height, it's R3 is allowed 3 stories. We have 2 stories. We get 1 point. Building area, R3 is unlimited area. So you get a maximum of half of the fire safety score, which in this case is 8.5, as the fire safety score is 17. Compartmentation, the building's 3,200 square feet, so I interpolated between 2,500 square feet, which is 22 points, and 5,000 square feet, which is 16, and came up with 20. There's only 1 tenant, so that's nothing. There's no corridor, so that's nothing. Vertical openings, if it's a 1-story building, gets 2 points. HVAC system, 1-story building gets 5 points. Automatic fire detection. We do have smoke alarms in here. To get points, you have to have smoke detection tied to audio visual devices and all that. Fire alarm is not required in an R3. So we took a 0 there for fire detection. Fire alarm system, we took the maximum negative there, which is -10, because we don't want to put a fire alarm system in this basically 1 large bedroom building with the door directly out of that bedroom to the outside, the new door, which is going in. Smoke control, we don't have anything. Means of egress, we do have emergency lighting. And you don't get any points for that, but you don't get negative points either, so that's good. There's no dead ends. Maximum travel distance is 50 feet. You get 15 points for that. No elevator. Means of egress emergency. Again, lighting, we've got that. It's not mixed occupancy. We took the maximum negative for sprinkler systems, which is -6 for residential. And then for means of egress, it's a -3. It's half the total. No standpipes, no incidental use. Score comes out 2050 fire safety, 40 for 40.5 for means of egress, and 37.5 for general safety. So they all pass. They're all plus numbers. So I would request approval of this building to be occupied and used as the Firebrand Ministries building, with the condition we add the second door because it's not actually there yet, but we're committing to it by this action. And if any of you can read the worksheet over there, I had a couple editorial issues over there, which I will correct and I'll submit this. Actually, the numbers are all right. I just neglected I think on there it says there's a wall separation, fire partition, less than 1 hour, not compliant. And a corridor wall, which is not there. So.
I have a quick question. It's okay with the commission. With that passing, will there be any need for a variance or any requirements?
Well, not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And then no construction needed to occur?
Well, we'd have to add the smoke alarms and the exit lights, which I think the exit lights would require a CDR, yes.
It don't change the use, isn't it? I mean, you're basically going from a.
It is a change of use, going from a mercantile to an R3. And we've actually with plan review over the years, have filed some and haven't had to file some. It's kind of a gray area.
I suggest you get filed to get a change of use and that you meet per chapter 34, correct?
And that would be one avenue. And I honestly haven't talked to him to know for sure if this is currently out. Until we get this corrected or get the CDR, because that is a month-long process, obviously, under ideal circumstances.
I'm sorry, I missed a little bit of that. I missed a little bit of what you just said.
I said, if I'm not 100% sure if the building's occupied now, if that's why it came up as an issue. And if it is, and one of the conditions is we file for CDR, we're going to push him out another month.
Well, the Charles is saying he hasn't put the door in yet, so if he's occupied now, he's not in compliance with code and life safety, and so that's an issue anyways. So he really shouldn't be occupied until the door is in, no matter what, whether you file.
I think they are. The whole conversation.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the issue.
Yeah, permits to cut a door in
Well, I have to have,
from local, whoever.
well, I don't think they have permits in the deal.
Yeah, I mean,
So I don't think there's a LBO involved. And typically on a violation, we have a time frame to correct it. And I don't know that he's been issued a vacate order if it is occupied. So I guess maybe the variance would be to allow him to occupy it until we get a CDR. Because technically, we can't put the door until we get a CDR, which put out another.
Again, technically, he shouldn't be occupying it until it's safe. So,
No, I understand.
so no matter what our action is, he should not be occupying the building until it's safe. And he stood in front of us and said that he wants to have a safe building. So
Right.
And the second door comes on the chapter 34.
So is he adding a fire alarm system or is he just using $10 smoke detectors?
Smoke detectors all required.
Yeah, just to update the commission, this entire matter came before after we issued violations. There was an appeal and there was an agreement to allow this body to come before the commission to request a variance, and then the department allowed a amount of time to come into compliance after the commission acted. So we've already been working with this facility and have a plan for how to address the compliance issue and occupancy issue. Already agreed to in the administrative proceeding that preceded this variance request.
so we don't need to take action on occupancy or as it relates to coming into compliance. We just need to take action on.
Yeah, that's been addressed and agreed to in the, what was it, a stipulation of dismissal, settlement agreement essentially for the administrative review case.
And I'll be honest with you, my condition of taking this was I did not get involved on the legal side.
So Justin, does an NVR impact the proceedings of that agreement or does it?
It was after, Tyler can correct me if I'm mistaken, I think after the commission took action on the variance, there was 90 days to come into compliance, which could be extended to an additional time period if, for good faith reason.
Yeah, it was until later, 75 days after dismissal and 90 days after denial of the executive application, but we had an additional probation for up to 190 days. So, we in our own unilateral capacity, and that, based on internal discussions of code enforcement, I don't think we necessarily be opposed, but I think it's something we're not gonna, on the open, just say we'll do it without discussion.
Yeah.
Again, I'm back to, is it better for us to grant a variance for the change of use as requested or to say NVR and just let this float out in the air and assume that they're gonna file for design release? And
I don't know if we have a preference either way, whether it's an NVR or not. I think either way, once an action occurs, is our triggering event for those deadlines.
Okay.
But I'm gonna make a motion that per the passing score for chapter 34, this is an NVA.
I'll second that.
Mr. Lehman, did I hear you say that there's just one story? Is that
Yes.
considering the basement section on the back?
It's not used.
It's just, okay.
It's-
So
it's
does that
a site.
factor into the 34? It's just tear down. Okay.
Is there a second?
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner Chris?
Yes.
Commissioner Davidson?
Yes.
Commissioner Hyde?
Yes.
Chairman?
Yes.
Commissioner Pennington?
Yes.
Commissioner Patrick?
Yes.
Vice Chairman?
Yes.
Commissioner Porter?
Yes.
Mr. Wagner?
Yes.
Commissioner Tank?
Yes.
Roger, thank you. Yeah, no, that just been solving that one.
Well, you could thank me by going ahead and hearing my other variants on up, if you like.
No, we're back for you.
I think you still have, 445 Phoenix Fort Wayne International Orchestra, right?
That's not here. 240542 Rockport Inn. It's kind of like this one, actually.
Can you let us do the harvester one?
Oh, I'll
And the tables. and then-
Absolutely. If I could get done before lunch, it's on, because I got a bank appointment.
Well on our way.
So, okay, so we're gonna move to,
We gotta go back.
2445. Phoenix, Fort Wayne.
Motion to untable. Oh, wasn't it?
We thought it was Mr. Lehman who waited.
Okay.
So we'd have to vote to table. We didn't hear from any proponents.
Oh, that, I was looking at the wrong one when I saw.
Yeah.
So you need a motion to table?
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Yeah. Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner Chris?
Yes.
Commissioner Davidson?
Yes.
Commissioner Hyde?
Yes.
Chairman?
Yes.
Mr. Pennington?
Yes.
Mr. Patrick?
Yes.
Vice Chairman?
Yes.
Mr. Porter?
Yes.
Mr. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Tank?
Yes.
Can we take a 5-minute break before we start the new meetings? So I need to take a couple.
Yeah.
Just in time for a break.
Okay. Well, and it was funny. I was like the whole way in, I got right to this door and I was waiting for you, and then all of a sudden my phone went dry. I'm like, I'm walking in.
Yeah.
Going pretty fast.
Yeah, I know.
I'm glad we were able to clean up like 3 of these.
I can't get in.
I just tried.
Bring me one. Make sure it's covered.
He didn't know. He didn't know. Yes. He also. They do make residential.
Talk to me. What did I do? What did I do? You did? Who is for what? He's just terrible. I mean, it's embarrassing.
Dustin, do you want to mute the mic while it's on break? People's personal conversations are being broadcast.
I mean, brought him a drink too. Shit, brought him all a drink. Okay, now it says it's not working.
All right. We're gonna get started again. Please have a seat.
We're gonna start with the new variances.
All right, so new variances, first up is 240537 A and B YMCA of Muncie, new downtown YMCA, Muncie.
Dennis Bradshaw Consulting.
I got it. This one, has A, B, A, so this has to do with another previous variance, 231240. They're coming back to remove, looks like the condition we put on there. They don't want to put a sprinkler system over the swimming pool, whirlpool, seating and deck areas. B is the same with the same, previous variance. The reason why I sent this to you is because usually that is one area that we, previously have not allowed, is not sprinkler system over the seating and deck areas.
I'll explain what's going on with this. The commission granted two variances on this project previously. One of the conditions for the variances is a 1 hour wall, 1 hour rated wall separation between the seating area of the pool, natatorium area, seating area, and the rest of the building. They have that 1 hour wall. During construction, they ran into an issue with opening protection. They were having issues with getting fire rated assemblies that would be compatible with a pool environment. Normally they use stainless steel, aluminum, those sort of things within a pool environment. They found out they couldn't get fire rated assemblies with that. So they took an approach to where they sealed in some of the openings that were originally designed in that 1 hour wall, sealed those in, put rated openings in where they could, make it work. The last part of it is they have a glass area, which was a large window area, that they really wanted it to let light into the, it's a free weight area in the rest of the building into the pool area. And that one there, they couldn't find a solution. What we want to offer is to provide a line of closed space sprinklers, 6 feet on center, designed to wash that non-rated opening along that on the facility side where you actually have a floor level right next to it. That's the side we want to do that sprinkler system along there. That's the only change, is we want to offer that in lieu of a rated assembly, which we cannot provide. The only other solution is simply fill it in, and they really don't want to do that if they can keep from it, because they would lose a lot of light coming through there. They really wanted to make that opening so that they could bring some light between those two spaces. Again, on the pool side, so forth, very minimal, if any at all, combustible loading on that side. Actually, there are sprinklers on both sides of that window anyway, because part of your variance was to sprinkle the seating area anyway, so there would be sprinklers on that side anyway. But that's the only change that we did for this, was we're looking for an alternative solution to still have that window area.
So the area around the pool where the seating is at is still going to be sprinkled, correct? You're not removing that?
Right.
That's the exact opposite of what the comments say.
Yeah, that's not what it says.
Yeah, this looks like a repeat of the last variance, and it doesn't have any of what you just described.
No. This is saying that you're not going to provide sprinkler protection over the whirlpool seating and deck areas.
Yes, there will be this sprinklers and that part is all all still, a part of the design.
Well, I'm just saying that's not what our variance reads. And it doesn't have anything to stipulate that you're putting in close spaced sprinklers to protect the wall that you're putting in. Well, yeah, I guess it does. Non-rated glazed opening to protect by close space.
The intent is to do the openings which would not be rated, that particular opening really at that. We don't have it. I do have the architect, here I see Tom Salzer is, online. Tom, do you have anything to add to that?
Right here in your application, it says that will not be provided with sprinkler protection over the swimming pools, whirlpools, seating, and deck areas.
I mean,
yeah, that's right in your variance application.
I'm concerned.
Right, well,
have the correct.
I guess maybe you didn't understand what. Originally, our original variance was to not have any of that area.
I'm looking at the variance that is tied to this application in the States.
The seating area would be sprinkled.
That's the exact opposite of what your application is.
I think we have the wrong application.
No, so under the facts, you do have, so you'll be protected by an automatic sprinkler system except for the pool and the deck area.
Correct.
Everything else in that area where the seating is will be protected.
Correct.
And then you have, there'll be 1 hour fire barrier between the track and the seating area overlooking the pools and the non-sprinkler pool deck area. Non-rated glazed openings are protected by close space sprinklers designed to wash the non-rated glazed openings, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
But number 3 says the non-sprinkler swimming pools, whirlpools, and deck areas will be separated from the rest of the building by 1 hour barrier. Well, that includes the seating area. So the seating area has to have sprinklers. That was our stipulation the very first time we heard this.
I see what you're saying.
So there's contradiction in this application. At the top, in the conditions, it says it won't be sprinklered, and then in the facts, it says it won't be sprinklered on the pool side of the fire. Which is not what we've agreed to in the city.
I have no issues with having the condition that the seating area, it should be, is to be sprinkled. That was our intent of this.
It seems like what you're proposing is a relatively simple variance application. Yet this application has so many things thrown back in that were already discussed previously. And I don't know. I mean,
better than table hasn't happened really.
Because we're rewriting it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, let's just stick to the one question you're asking, which is a reasonable question versus bringing up all this other stuff that we've already resolved.
This would be the 3rd time, so.
Yeah, then our intent was to not change what was originally approved. It was just to specifically deal with that opening protection within that 1 hour wall portion, not to change any of the sprinkler agreement already.
It's like, I mean, just.
I believe, let's see, I believe the condition, the condition that was last done, I see here in the conditions, it says sprinklers over spectator seating, not over.
Now you file a new application that says that you're not doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I'm reading very clearly, a new sprinkler YMCA building will not be provided with sprinkler protection over the swimming pool, seating, and deck areas. right in your application for 903.3.1.1.1.
We would deny that based on our previous conversations.
That would be A, right? And
Yeah, 903.1.1. I'm
B.
It sounds like I should have struck out that portion if that was causing confusion, because
I think what you should do is file a new variance that says, I want to have a non-rated opening with closed space sprinklers.
Yes.
Period.
Keep it simple. Yes.
you know, I thought
That's what you're asking for, right?
essentially, yeah, the reason I didn't
Previous
do
variance
that,
immaterial because you're asking for a new variance.
I have done that in the past, not on this particular one, but I was told by staff that I should go back to the original variance rather than simply come in and say, I want a non-rated opening within a
I
wall.
think it's fine to acknowledge that you had previous variances on this project. But the way this is written right now, if we approve this for your application, we're basically saying you don't have to sprinkler the pool unless we start creating a bunch of conditions.
We're reversing ourselves.
Unless we start rambling off a whole list of conditions to correct your application.
Would you be okay with having the same conditions that were on the previous one? I mean, that states that sprinklers over the spectator seating.
I think you would just withdraw A.
Yes.
Because you've already done that, right? You've already done A. You've got a sprinkler system already installed or being installed. And, over the seating area.
I guess I should point out too, that the 1 hour wall really isn't required by the code from any other place. The code doesn't really require that to be there. That just happened to be something that was included into the variance submittal. So just so you understand that there really isn't any other reason for that.
You are required that by code, you'd be required to sprinkler over the pool, and your variance is to not, your original variance was to not do that. And the trade-off there was the 1 hour separation.
Yeah.
So it was a trade-off to get your original variance. And now you have a new variance that says we can't provide the full rating because one of our windows won't comply. So we want to use closed space sprinklers. And period, that is my new variance.
Yeah.
And then what is the other one about not wanting to rate the steel? Is that still in play, or is that still a carryover from the last time? Because we have two variances under this.
Because I thought we already did that before. We agreed that they were going to sprinkle.
They were going to sprinkle the steel.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean.
So again, this,
yeah.
what's been presented to us is stuff we've already.
Yeah.
And we haven't gotten the new question about the window.
Okay,
Yeah. That's right. I'm confused by both exactly the same conversation.
I may ask Dr.
You agree
if
we
he
want
wants
probably
any comment
withdraw
on
and
this.
then file a new for the one question.
I'm trying to understand his variant.
So all he wants to do now is he has one section of his 1 hour wall between the pool and the rest of the building, which we required as the trade-off for not sprinklering over the pool itself. They can't get a rated assembly that is chlorine resistant. So they want to do closed head sprinklers over just that one opening. That is what he's asking for in this. Verbally, that's what he's asking for. That's not what he's asked for in the application. So is it better for him to withdraw this and just file what he's asking for now?
Yeah.
Yeah, both.
Can I be, with that new variance, can I be specific about just addressing the opening in the wall? And just then refer back to if there was another.
We can refer back to the fact that we granted a variance. The firewall was granted in a variance of a trade-off for not sprinklering over the pool area as a reference point.
But, okay,
And you're still gonna put the sprinkler system over the seating area?
yes.
Okay, yeah, so the issue
Now-
is just that 1 hour.
Originally, both variances, and in the 1 hour wall was never mentioned in the other variance at all, in that application. But
We required that. That was our.
But we required, right, so-
Our trade-off for allowing you to not sprinkle.
Sure. Now, the question is, do I file one variance or do I have to file two now? Just one?
It's just the one, it's the one ask.
Just the one.
Okay.
And I think I see now, like maybe if I'm walking in your shoes, what you were doing is it's almost like we'd have to like get rid of the old variance and then redo everything with conditions on this one, which seems more messy than just, let's just have an additional variance.
I agree, but that gets to be messy and I'm okay with
On variance. Yeah, where if you just have our previous variances plus an additional one that accompanies it, that seems more clean.
If the commission's okay with that approach, I'm okay with that.
We are okay with that.
So it's just withdrawal.
I think there's enough of us here that have had this conversation now that when you come back next month, we're good to go. All right.
Good. I was just afraid taking that approach would not, work. That's why.
Yeah, I can see, after pondering this, I can see your perspective of, there's two paths to go down, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Are they withdrawn?
So you're gonna withdraw this.
So you're
Yeah, well-
withdrawing variance A, correct?
Well, if he is the result.
I think we can take
They're both tied by this 1 hour wall requirement.
Yeah, appeal our previous variance and
The reason I said because if you withdraw both variances and then file a new one, it won't be on the next month.
You want me to table it and then submit the application?
What I can do is, go ahead and, withdraw variance A, then variance B reworded. I can have IT put it back into ID status. You want to keep your same variance number. And then just reword variance B.
Okay.
Then we can put it back on the agenda for next month. So you got a month to
I'm okay with that if that works for you.
yeah, because like I said, if you refile it, you're gonna get a whole new different,
Right.
variance number, and it won't be on the agenda for next month.
Right. Okay.
So we're tabling, so we need to
Table.
table them and then you'll fix it.
Yeah.
Table.
So it'll be.
First and second to two.
I'll move to table B.
Second.
We made it quicker, Rich.
Secretary Cook,
yes.
Commissioner Chris,
Yes.
Commissioner Davidson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hyde,
Yes.
Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Clancy,
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson,
Yes.
Vice Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Porter,
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner,
Yes.
Commissioner Zink.
Yes.
All right,
Table B.
I'm sending it to her now and send it back.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have 240538 Seeds of Hope Building 3 in the Annex.
This one, the code requires that the seated spaces of exposed combustible construction be sprinkled. They want to,
Morning, Derek Coleman, Arts and Consultants. Also on the line is Sean O'Connor, owner of Red Band, and Phil Troyer, the architect of the project. The project is a new building for the Seeds of Hope Women's Program. The first floor of the building is administrative office area and daycare occupancy, e-occupancy daycare for children of the women that are in the program as the intent of that daycare occupancy. It's not like open to the public or anything. And the second floor is apartments for women in the program. The request is to not sprinkler the attic space only, the non-conditioned attic spaces. The floor assembly between the first floor and second floor will be sprinkled. If this building was just the apartments only, there's another building on the project as well, but it is apartments. The type 13R system would be appropriate and wouldn't need the sprinkler in the attic. One thing that they have in the building that's not required by code, it is split in half by 2-hour fire barrier, so it has 2 separate fire areas. But because it has the business administrative office and the daycare on the first floor, it's driving the requirement to need a 13 system instead of a 13R system.
If it's conditioned that, then why do they not want to sprinkler it?
It's not conditioned that.
Looks like the installation.
Yeah, insulation's up on the roof, according to the drawing.
It determined that it still need to be a dry pipe system up there.
I don't know, I'm insulated. I don't understand how they got to that.
Maybe they could determine that that's not true. Because the building, the thermal building envelope goes clearly above the attic space.
You've got R25 on the roof deck, according to the roof construction.
Bill, if you can hear me, do you have any comments on the building envelope?
The entire truss area directly above the apartments is heated, will be sprinkled. That's not a problem. The only problem is a mansard area around the perimeter of it that's just there for some shingle aesthetic from the ground. So it's a small mansard enclosure, and even that area is compartmented, separated between each apartment. So it's not like it's a continuous area. It's a very small area, but because it's non-tempered, a full 13 system or a full sprinkler system would require a dry system for just those small areas around the perimeter.
So you're drop stopping or drywalling between units and between the attic and this mansard?
Yes, that's correct.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Well, I just want to make a note that you stated that the attic space above the units will be sprinkled, right? Just not the main.
That is correct.
Okay, so the application notes need to be updated. We need to make a condition that it's only the main starts that are not being.
Yeah,
because this is.
We'll do that just through a condition for just the answer anyway.
Oh,
yeah, it's really the non-conditioned attic space. We consider the tempered space up to that insulated deck as part of the unit. It's not an attic because it's tempered.
Okay. So I'm gonna make a motion to approve with stipulation that only the non-tempered mansard attic areas will not be sprinkled.
Second.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Chris?
Yes.
Mr. Davidson?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Chairman?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker?
Yep.
Mr. Battery?
Yes.
Vice Chairman?
Yes.
Mr. Porter?
Yes.
Mr. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Zane?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, next up we have 2405, 39, and 40 Allen County Highway Department, north and south facility.
This request, not providing fire suppression system or ability to be used as storage of commercial trucks. So 5,000 square feet.
Okay, Dennis Bradshaw Consulting. Yes, we do have. We do have the county engineers online with us too, to answer any specific questions. But what we have here is it's a new storage building to store the highway trucks. It is a type 2B construction building. It's approximately 12,500 square feet. It's a simple structure, simply used for storage of these highway trucks. There's no repair work being done, maintenance, anything like that. It's simply simple building where they bring them in parking for the night and then, or until the next shift comes in to, pick them up. The problem is, it's the cost to get the water to the building, so forth. It is a rural site. So they're looking at, a big cost hit to bring the water in, to the building. In fact, I believe, Wendy, are you, online?
Yes.
Okay. Could you explain a little bit in detail as far as the cost and the issues of getting, water to this building?
So the south facility, there is actually no water. Currently, there's no water provided to this facility. And so we would, we have a well that we would have to add a booster pump to. And plus we have to run the water line from the well to the building and then to provide the sprinkler system inside the building. The north facility, there is, Huntertown does have a water line, but yeah, and because the original design just included a 1/2 inch for a hose bib. So we would have to install a water line to the new facility and also the sprinkler system inside.
And I should add that these buildings, minimal heat, involved too. They're not designed for human comfort or anything. There's no one really working inside these buildings or stationed inside these buildings. Simply be the drivers coming in to get the trucks. They take the energy. Well, since it's not being designed for human comfort, it would be exempt out of that particular part of the energy code. So, but we had offices in there or something like that, then it would apply, but we don't have any of that.
I have the hardship on here at $490,000, but it's the same for the south and the north. Same exact number.
Well,
what is the cost for the north since it's a different?
It's the same exact, well, it's basically the same exact building size-wise and construction-wise, but due to the different sites, there's 2 different sites and they're reason for the north and the south and different locations. And
the big cost is going to be the site work, right? To run the line,
Yeah.
which doesn't sound like it would be the exact same amount. I'm just curious what the hardship is.
The cost of the north facility was about $110,000 running the water line and the sprinkler system.
And that cost doesn't really include actually sprinklers in the building, does it? That's just running the line.
Yeah. That's got to be both.
Anyway. Yeah, I think it was both actually.
Just another note, this does have gas radiant heaters in it.
Yeah, we were in the winter time, we were probably going to heat to about 50 degrees.
That's just another potential for fire.
Do you have to heat it? Pardon? Do you have to heat the building if you just put trucks in there? I'll just throw that out there. I'm thinking.
I don't know. That's a good question. The question was asked if the buildings have to be heated.
I mean, I've been to several county highways and they have open face, open on one side, put all the trucks under a roof. They want to shed them, but they don't heat them. 3-sided building.
Well, goes down to close.
Right.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
do
I
you
don't
have an
know if it
answer?
was for the water, the 1/2 inch water line with the hose bib to make sure that didn't freeze in the winter time.
Well, they're diesel trucks, so they'll start.
Oh, and they're diesel trucks, so they'll start in the winter.
I'm not gonna plug mine in.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't have an answer for that as far as if there's an option there for them to do that. So. Wendy, they were asking about, has there been any consideration in the main area where the trucks are, if they need to have heat in those areas?
I'm just curious.
Yeah, just some curious questions.
Well, as mentioned before, they're diesel trucks. So we don't want them to freeze in the winter time. So they'll start when we need to use them to plow snow.
I think somebody mentioned you can plug them in too.
Just have drops, ceiling drops.
You can, but block heaters aren't
For
necessarily.
each one,
reliable.
for engine block heaters. And then eliminate the heating portion of the problem.
They just have electrical cords
Yeah.
getting stretched and.
Right.
run over.
Well, you have them dropped on in the turns.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we
Down.
do. That's what we do for our trucks, our
Yeah.
apparatus space.
Yeah, you go away with the fire truck, it doesn't plug off.
Well,
We typically, we don't just.
No, I mean,
We have.
What has the commission done in the past for something like this? Because it seems like, it seems to be why 110 doesn't sound like a big hardship.
Yeah, what is the total cost of the building?
The cost of the building is 860,000 is what they've got listed as.
You're correct, because if you have, so I was just reading about an apparatus bay fire that took a whole fire station recently that they didn't have sprinkled and didn't have, it was an older station. Luckily, the firefighters upstairs made it out. I know that's not the same, but they lost everything on the first floor. So if you have a fire there, you're gonna lose all the vehicles, so.
Because my opinion is that they should sprinkle it, but I'm trying to figure out why we would.
So, I'd like to ask a couple questions. So what are the vehicles that will be stored in there? What are they and what are they specifically used for?
Well, they're tandem axle dump trucks, used for, in the summer. They have grader blades underneath them and, we still have about 40 miles of gravel roads. We grade with them and, we haul stone for chip and seal. And of course, then in the winter, we use them for, plowing snow and spreading salt and sand. That's the primary use of these trucks. They're all season trucks.
And how much does one of these trucks cost?
About $250,000.
yeah.
And is
It's an investment.
the operation of those trucks critical to the infrastructure of what you're serving?
We use them every day.
Thank you.
I mean, the building, it preserves the truck. Keep it out of the bad weather as much as possible. So it's ready to rock and roll or go.
I mean, is the intent of having these, is the intent of having these facilities to protect the trucks from weather, or are there other reasons?
Absolutely.
That's the intent.
Is there security issues as well?
Not
Security.
particularly, no.
Okay.
Just keep the weather off of them when, we only run one shift and so, only 8 to 10 hours a day are they out in the weather and the rest of the time, you keep them out of the weather where they hold up quite a lot better. They're easier to maintain.
But if you have an issue and you lose all of it.
Well, I've got the answers I need to make a decision, is my point. And how many trucks are in each one?
10 to 12.
My personal opinion is to deny it.
Well, I think, I motion. Based on the answers to my questions, I would motion to deny.
And I would second that.
There's a second, isn't it?
We do that for both applications, so we're gonna vote on 29 and, or 39 and 40 at the same time.
Yes, they spoke on both.
Are they both very similar?
They're the same.
Dennis, were they?
One has a water supply, one has a well.
Right. Okay.
We can do them separate, or
Let's do them separate.
I would do them separately because north facility has one set of conditions, the south facility has a completely different set of issues and conditions. So they're not, the situation.
She was just speaking on both.
Yeah,
She was-
and that's
she
why
was
I was
talking-
asking.
She started with the south one first, so.
So is the south one the one that's got the water in it and the radiant heat?
The south one is the one that has the water issue, essentially. The water's gonna cost, double the cost.
And that's why I asked, because when you look at the application, they're using the same language. I'm like, it can't be the same language.
But the northwest has water supply there.
Yeah, the north is different than the south.
Does the Fort Wayne Fire Department have a position on this, or are these auditors?
Wendy, do you have any comment on, your contact with the fire department?
Yeah, we met with the New Haven Fire Department and fire marshals. They just said they had no comment.
The other would be Huntertown. The north one would be Huntertown. Northwest Fire District and the other is East Central.
Sure. Yeah.
Robert.
Move forward with the first one.
Yeah, no, my motion was to deny, 39.
Yeah, 2405, 39.
And your second still holds?
9 seconded.
Great. We can go to a vote. Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Chris,
Yes.
Mr. Davidson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hyde,
Yes.
Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Bannicky,
Yes.
Mr. Patrick.
Yes.
Vice Chairman,
Yes.
Mr. Porter,
It was 39.
Yes.
Mr. Wagner,
Yes.
Mr. Zink.
Yes.
40 has the water, right?
I make a motion to deny 40.
Second.
I will second.
Okay, we have, this is for the south facility. We're talking about.
the south.
Okay, south facility, I'd like to comment on that one because this one's a much different deal, same type of building, yes. But we're looking at a cost of $490,000 to put a water system in that site to provide a sprinkler system.
Also, $2.5 million if your truck's burned out.
Our building construction cost is $797,000. So we're literally taking the hit to this project to the point where it may not happen. I mean, this is detrimental to the project. The other one was a much lesser cost hit to the construction project, which I understand.
Same impact to taxpayers if something happens in that building.
And did we have a second for that? Okay, I'll take it to a vote. Commissioner Cook.
Yes.
I may ask the engineer to comment again on this one, what the hardship and the hit on this. Is this a situation where this project will essentially die then if it's forced to spend that kind of money?
The buildings will probably be constructed. We just probably will not be able to store anything there in a while, since we won't have the sprinkler system installed without having a water line to the south barn.
Chairman, so I continue to vote or?
My motion is
Yeah, please stand.
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Davidson,
Yes.
Mr. Hyde,
No.
Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Bannicky,
yes.
Mr. Patrick,
Yes.
Vice Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Porter,
Yes.
Mr. Wagner,
Yes.
Mr. Zink.
Yes.
That one is denied.
Consideration.
Thank you. All right, next up, we have 240541 Family Center, Indianapolis.
Okay, let's see. This request to locate a physical objection point in the pit, you have politics downstream. I sent this to you for the just see this question. Excuse me, I'm going to test these out. This is my first time here in my 51 years of engineering, so just cut me a break. I appreciate it. I don't know who else needs this, but, okay, very good, thank you. There's, we do have a comment from the department on this, who are unopposed to variance.
Can you say that one more time?
We have a comment from the Wayne Township Fire Department who is unopposed to variance.
Yeah.
And he is referring it to the Department of Health. He runs them to.
Right, and we have met with the County Department of Health, and they're good with this, or we wouldn't be submitting it. This is for Cranard Family Center. It's a city park center on the west side of town. And I wasn't exactly sure how to present this because of the way the regulation is written. The regulation is written that unless you have an erosion kind of chlorine feeder, which is basically creates a liquid, they don't like to have that injected or put into the system before the pump. Now, what we're proposing is a different kind of liquid, but it's still a liquid. So I didn't know whether to just come in for variance, just to change what's providing the liquid, or to describe why it's important that this be done where it's at. So I'm going to take the engineering reason why it's important to have it applied where it's at, and then how that's dealt with, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. The first page shows the facility. It shows a spray pad at the bottom and mechanical room at the top. The green line is the disinfected line, which comes from the mechanical room, goes to the spray pad, and then the red line shows the contaminated water coming back to the mechanical room to be treated. Page 2 basically shows the flow path within the building. So the sewer comes in from the spray pad. This is the pit in question. Out of that pit, water's drawn. It's gone through the filtration system and then back around. Now, the pit itself has about 30 to 35% of the water in the system. And so that's where the dirty water first enters the system. That is exactly where we would like to apply the chemicals to immediately get the germs killed and not let it get into the pipes and inject it someplace later in the system. If you inject it someplace later in the system, there's a full 15-minute cycle to get it back to the pit. So the problem first comes to the pit. We want to address the problem right there. And then we're doing it with a solution feeder. It's just a different kind of solution. So the variance request is to allow us to use a solution feeder that the city uses at all its other parks, and to immediately apply the chemical at the earliest point and not let any contaminated water get travel into any portion of the system. That's the request we're asking for, and the city's asking for.
I was gonna say, what's, and tell me again about the Department of Health, because wouldn't they have to, help permit this too?
We've already ran through them, but this is a variance and they cannot give a variance.
What do they feel about this? Are
They like it. They're all for it.
Where is this being injected again? Is it on the return line?
Well, and obviously the water goes out, it's clean, it's disinfected, it comes back in, and then it enters this pit and it's pumped out of the pit. We want to apply the chemical as soon as we can to the water that's contaminated and not allow it, not apply it someplace else other than that.
Is it the same concentration?
It's actually a more controlled concentration. This is continuously monitored. An erosion control system, and I'm getting in the weeds, forgive me, it's like you put a tablet in water and it dissolves and then you pump the water out. That's not really controlled. This is an actual measured liquid system. They buy it in containers. It's metered.
It's much more controlled.
The pit is constantly being monitored.
All the time.
And the dispensing system looks at that monitoring and puts in.
And also, yes, we have all automated.
So you're injecting it into the pit then?
They inject it into the pit instead of the pipe. That's all we're really doing. And it's a liquid solution, just like the others.
See, the monitoring of the pit, is it?
It's sophisticated monitor, it's continuous.
But my question is, you said 35% of the water is within the pit.
It is in the pit.
If the monitors in one corner, is the pit?
We have a mixer in there.
Okay, that's my question.
We have, the little symbol that looks like the 4 paddles, that's a mixer.
The whole thing makes sense to me. Would we not want to see some type of email or letter from the health department, even if they're looking for us to approve the variance, but to actually see it in writing that they agree?
We're good.
Okay. Motion to approve. Because I'm like, at the end of the day, they're gonna control this too.
I agree.
You did. Did you make a motion?
Yes.
Yeah,
You did. I second.
Okay, Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner Chris? Yes. Commissioner Davidson?
Yes.
Commissioner Hecht?
Yes.
Chairman?
Yes.
Commissioner Panicky?
Yes.
Commissioner Catarino?
Yes.
Vice Chairman?
As I am recused on this one, I just didn't want to interrupt the gentleman to state it, but my camera's been off and I've not taken part in the discussion.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Porter?
Yes.
Commissioner Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Zane?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. Looks like I did okay.
You know what? Undefeated.
Thank you.
Question, that's not about what you have.
All we were really missing was a PowerPoint.
And slider.
That's right.
Get out of here before lunch, because the old one got let out.
Yeah.
She said it.
Hey, I said, bang.
All right, so we have 240542 Rockport and Rockport.
AHS? That was yours. The request is allow some rooms in an R1 occupancy to be occupied for more than 30 days.
And that's the name of the game.
So why was this one referred?
Heard one like this before.
We heard one like this last month in Auburn, from Auburn. Correct.
I wish I would have stuck around and listened to it.
We used to know.
Well,
Start singing and dancing, Roger.
Yeah, well, this is a extremely interesting project. I'm gonna try and, I'm gonna keep it short unless you want a lot of stuff that I do. Basically, the owner of the Rockport Inn, who's owned it for about, I think, 5 years-ish, 6 years probably. And this inn was built in 1850. Yeah, I think it was 1850 or 1860. It's been used continuously for an inn. And I say an inn specifically because inns were both transient and non-transient. So this has been a transient, building for 100 years. All right. And so in 2020, they had a fire in a tavern that was attached to this building. The fire wasn't in this building, it was in the building attached to this building, damaged the back part of this building. The LBO asked that the owner submit to state for CDR for the repairs because there was some structural damage. It was up against the side of this building. So that was filed as an R1. That's to my knowledge, the only thing that's ever been filed in this building, ever. And so out of the blue, a few a month ago, actually, just a month ago, the state fire marshal came by and said, we've got a complaint, you have people living here more than 30 days, and it's listed as an R1, just transient. And the owner was like, oh, okay, what do I need to do? So he was given 3 choices. Put in a sprinkler system because the state fire marshal said it was now an R2, even though they still had some transient tenants. Or you could get variance, or you could get a CR. And the kicker is they gave him 10 days to do it or vacate the premises. So you can't do any of those in 10 days. So they made him vacate the premises. So the hardship is I've got an owner that has a building with 8 units in it that he can't occupy. And the question is, what classification do we give a building that's both transient and non-transient? Because the rooms are basically the same. They don't have kitchens, and there's a common kitchen. It's more like a boarding house traditionally. And they still have short-term people that come in and stay a few days or a week or a weekend. And they have some tenants that come that are working at the power plant. There's a huge power plant down there. And they do work in it all the time. They have guys that come in and stay for a couple of months. And they have some people that just stay like they live there. That's their house or their apartment. So the question is, what do we do? And given the choices, from a timing standpoint in particular, my choice was we need to get a variance to allow non-transient people to live in an R1 occupancy. Would solve this problem. It would accomplish what the state fire marshal said was required. And we could get back to doing what he's been doing for however long he's owned it, plus however long the building's been there, which is forever. So it's kind of a unique situation. I wasn't here for the opposite one, so I don't know if the circumstances are different or not. It does have a fire alarm system in it. It's old. The owner has agreed that to get back open, or if he could get back open and start getting some income in, he would, within a short time period, update the fire alarm system, something that's current. My understanding is what's there works, but it's not very, it's probably 40 or 50 years old, what's in there now. And he got a price from one vendor, it was like $50,000. And he said, I might need a little time to get a fire alarm system. So I ran a chapter 34 on it as an R2. My concern is, of course, if we file the state and get a CDR for an R2, and they come in and get a complaint that they got people living there less than 30 days, that, this could be a lather, rinse, repeat, and keep going back and forth.
Yes.
In my opinion, we just need to say what's been going on all this time is okay. And that's my honest, frank opinion. And I won't go, unless somebody wants to know, I won't go into what I think led up to this particular moment. All I'm trying to do right now is get it fixed for the guy so he can move tenants back in. He's been without tenants now for 30 days because the fire marshal gave him 10 days to do something. And they did contact me. We did I called the fire marshal's office, told them they've got me involved and I'll do a chapter 34. We'll get it figured out. Was told that that wouldn't affect the vacation date. So he said that came from upstairs. So I went upstairs and that person also gave me the same story. So I think they want it fixed, but I don't know why it happened.
Well, it's been brought to fire department's attention, obviously, so they have to deal with it. Anytime that gets brought to someone's attention, they have to deal with it. Just because it's been going on doesn't mean that it should continue to go on now that it's been brought to someone's attention. Obviously, just because something's happened in the past doesn't make it right. And then, so I'm just looking at that. I'm just giving my opinion.
And I agree.
And the fact of whether we're looking at something, if it's whether we allow it or not. We're looking at any other code, do it the more restrictive code. Right. So the more restrictive would be the R2 or the R1, so.
Which is what I provided the chapter 34 on.
Correct. So I
Chapter 34 is based on R1.
Yeah, it's R2. It's from R1 to R2. If you look at it.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So I ran it for the R2 and I'm just afraid to file for CDO. I don't want to get back in this position. So what we're asking is for commission to say, this is okay for us, R1 or an R2, because it's always been that way. And I know that's not an automatic approval, but in this case, I don't understand why it would be anything else. And I don't know if anybody from code enforcement or legal or anybody else is here to discuss it.
How long are you asking for?
It's a pretty big building that's unsafe right now.
And for more than 30 days, I don't know what that means.
Well, like I said, I'm asking for kind of a permanent variance to allow R1 or R2, transient or non-transient, because it meets the requirement of the more restricted. And he's willing to even upgrade the fire alarm system to a new compliant system.
Is it bad?
But it's going to take a while to get.
Very bad precedent for us to set to do that.
Well, it's very unusual circumstances, in my opinion.
It's the issue I see with this is we have this happening all the time.
Yes.
So just like we had that one from Auburn, so which we made an R2 and they had to sprinkler. They got to not do some fire rating because they did sprinkler. So in that building, they did become an R2 because they had long-term tenants.
Yeah.
We're finding this more and more these days. We are having to try and address these motels both, that are becoming long-term stay.
Yeah, I mean, if he's completely vacant now, he needs to make a decision. Does he want to be a transient or does he want to be a non-transient? I mean, it's not like there's people in there right now. He's vacated it. So he needs to make the decision of how he wants to operate it. We can, based on the rules, we can grant a variance to not sprinkler or whatever you're asking for one or the other, but I mean.
And that's not what the variance is for, right? He's asking to be both or more permanent.
I would rather fight that battle later as far as if there's a short-term person living there and a long-term, if it's an R2. So I guess if I have a choice, then I would say I would ask for this to be permitted to be an R2 based on the chapter 34 approval. It's just, I guess, it's kind of a thing with me. In all my years, I've never seen any building ordered vacated in 10 days without, for something that's been going on for 100 years.
There are other circumstances, honestly, and that.
Well, I've not been aware of any. I've looked, there's nothing in the record that I can find that says there's anything
So
else.
the issue right now is he's referencing 310.3, which is R1 in his request. And so if you want it to be R2, then it needs to be 310.4 current.
After refile is provided, yeah.
You have the ability to change the section he's referencing in his application.
Yeah.
Well,
I apologize.
no, I just want to make sure we get it right, so that.
No. I appreciate it.
What's the section?
I think it should be 310.4, but I'm looking at upcodes, not the actual published building code, so.
So he listed as an R2, correct?
Correct.
The code requirements are more restricted. You just have in here that approval as an R2 code requirements is generally less restrictive than approved R1. That's in his letter that he sent out for the variance info. So that we were looking at R2, and that would be an R2. And in chapter 34 works as long as he has a fire alarm system installed, correct?
Correct. Which he does. It's just not very good. But
Well, it says that the existing antiquated fire alarm system as an upgrade.
Right.
So they'll be upgrading it, correct?
yeah, and he was willing to do that.
So the variance is for an R1 occupancy because it's transient.
No, it wants to be.
He wants to be R2.
R2,
So it'd be-
okay, 310.4.
So
Good job.
what he had in the application needs to be updated to 310.4.
Okay.
How many people are in it at one time?
It's got 8 units. Yeah, I think he lives in one of them. So it's.
He stated it, yes, in the letter.
So I mean, I was gonna have a permanent resident if you're living there.
Sure.
So it's,
At least that, you got that. Yeah.
I mean, not that I can't work, but
Refresh.
why not, why is, because I guess I keep looking at R3, thinking like, does it not fall into R3 with the 40 house? But,
I think he treats it almost more of a burden.
because the R3 allows for non-transient and transient boarding houses with certain numbers of people or fewer, which you fall into.
Yeah, I probably should have thought of that after I started looking at the other ones.
And that,
I know an R3 would work because it
Yeah,
is
I mean,
a lot less restrictive than any of these, yeah.
you want us to set this aside and you go quickly do the evaluation for R3 and just make sure it scores out?
Fine, it's your fight, isn't it?
Yeah, because
Again, you want to end up with an R2 that then causes you problems down the road, or would you rather just verify quickly that you can meet?
well, like I said, I think I can get, yeah, let me see what I can do. I've got 50 minutes, kind of sort of. 40.
Sure.
I'll be right back. I mean, go. I guess you need a table or something, or
We'll
not.
just set the on.
Be right back.
Next up, we have 240543 A and B Perry Central Community School Board Safety Area.
Sarah Bishop, I'm superintendent at Perry Central. Sorry, I'm not 100% sure if you just asked if anyone was here, but I thought maybe you did.
Yeah, so we need to hear from IDHS first, and then we'll have you speak, all right?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, there are 2 grants that pays, my first was to be, 2 rooms where I have 2 exits. The reason why we send this to you is this has to do with a daycare being through the school. This area, will have the sprinkler system and the 2 exits being concerned with this.
Perry Central Community School, go ahead.
Would you like to describe your variance to us?
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't hear. I can only really hear what Jim says in the microphone. I apologize.
It's fine, go ahead.
So we are, proposing moving our daycare to these 3 rooms because the area that it's in right now is in an unsprinkled location, and to sprinkle it, to figure out a way to make this work in that area is really cost prohibitive. So we're thinking about moving it to the area where you see on the diagram, and there's no direct exit to outside. So that's one of the pieces. And so you can see on the drawing how close those rooms are to that exterior door. So that's one piece, is whether we could not have to do, like if we could use those rooms without a direct access to the exterior, since they're so close to that exterior door at the end of that hallway. That's the first piece. And then the second piece is they're supposed to have 2 doors. So daycare room 2 and daycare room 3 have a door in between the 2 rooms, and then a door into the hallway. If that counts as 2 doors, we could do the same thing between daycare room 1 and daycare room 2.
He's on an upper level, that's why you can't get a door to the exterior directly from the room.
They are on, no, they're on the main level. It's just that we'll have to knock holes in the brick wall on the back where you see that exterior as sort of at the top of the diagram, and put 3 more exterior doors. And every time we add an exterior door in a school, then we're also looking at safety issues with keeping the doors locked and access to the building.
But these 3 rooms are sprinkled?
No, they are not sprinkled.
Okay, so yeah, so I misunderstood. So the rooms that you're moving to are not sprinkled, correct, as well?
Yeah, and the rooms we're in now are not sprinkled either.
Okay.
And how many children per room?
Well, we'll go by the CCDF guidelines. So the maximum in any of the room, well, the baby room max would be like 8 children, and the toddler room, I think max is at 12, and the preschool room would max at about 20, but we never have that many kids.
And what is the staff rate?
Again, we go by the CCDF guidelines. So those are mandated by the state. It's one adult for every 4 babies, 1 adult for every, I believe, 5 toddlers. I don't have that data right in front of me. 1 adult for every 10 PK age kid.
So basically 2 staff per room.
Yeah, it'll be
If they
a
were
minimum of
capacity.
staff per room, yes.
You have a fire protection quote attached also. Is that for the 3 new rooms?
No, that's for the rooms that we're in right now, which are in a different part of the building and are further from an exit door. So we would have to sprinkle, and none of that building is sprinkled now. It was built in 1966. So we would have to sprinkle from the classrooms where they are now all the way to the exit.
And does your operations plan have regular fire drills where you practice
Yes.
getting?
Yes, we do. We actually have a whole set of different procedures we use for daycare, and we have a staff who are assigned in the area who will go to that room and help the kids. So in addition to the staff that are actually working in those rooms.
And there's no food prep in those rooms, microwaves or anything like that?
No, sir.
And I'm sorry, do you guys have a fire alarm in the building? Do you have a fire alarm?
Do we have a fire alarm in the building? Yes, it's a school. It's inside of our school corporation.
I was just making sure. And so you do in those areas as well?
Yes, sir.
So I see the cost is, I mean, that's relatively $49,000, it's under $50,000.
It is relatively inexpensive except when you think about the fact that daycare itself is really expensive. And so we're investing a lot of resources in keeping it open. And so that added cost to provide the service for staff just becomes cost prohibitive.
How close is the next exit door? I mean, obviously you've given us dimensions to the nearest exit. How close is the next exit door?
So if you look at the diagram, and I should have given you more of the picture, but at the bottom, you can see a bathroom on the right. And there's a hallway. It would be right across from where it says 36 feet. There's a little hallway there. And, and there's the exact replica of this side of the room is on the other side of the room, and there's another exit over there. So there's another exit really close as well. This is we're a K-12 corporation under one roof, but this little section of it used to stand alone as its own building, and so it has multiple exits to the outside.
My commissioners that we've had, I can think of at least 2 or 3 very similar conditions in the last 2 years. Almost exactly 1 room for each age group, same staffing levels, same condition, right near an exterior door, but no dedicated exterior exit that we have.
Haven't we limited it to, what's the number, like 10 people or less?
It's based on the mandated by age.
If they ever change that, haven't we always said less than 10 or something?
I think we've always, the last ones was based on the state daycare for staffing and numbers per room.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there for people to consider as you.
So what is the square footage of the room? That on here?
It's not, and I don't know, but a classroom tip is at least 900 square feet. And those are old rooms that were built a long time ago, so they may be a little bit bigger than that. They're nice size. They were originally classrooms, so.
I'm sorry, how many square feet? The old ones?
At least 900.
For school, what's the exiting requirement? Would the door swing out in a 900 bigger school classroom?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
Typically school swing in.
Say, do we like more than 50 kids using the classroom?
We would normally use 35 for an occupant load for daycare.
So I
It would result in about 25 students.
Yeah, so I get 25 students per classroom then, which is
Yeah.
quite few.
So long as they're correct age group, then they're just, anything 4900 would be 1 exit required.
The only issue is that they're institutional rather than education. So if they had the doors, they'll live directly outside their it's education. Since they do not.
What was the ages again?
It's everything from toddler to.
Okay, but we're not talking about babies.
No, you don't.
Oh, infants too, okay.
Room 1 is babies, room 2 is toddlers, room 3 is. And the number of staff and the number of kids grows based on the age group.
So the 2 younger ones, anything 30 month and less, we need to have the 2 exits because that count is 10.
Well, I thought I heard that room 1 had an exterior door, but it does.
Yeah, she said it had a connecting door between the 2.
But that doesn't. Because I just, there's no outside.
So we go back to your fact, this is unsprinklered, but unlocked, limited access.
With 30 months and older.
Baby.
You know.
But I can't get the courtyards. Granted, it's a.
Should be they spring possible security. And I think it's anything add actually direct outside.
Yeah,
So what if we just have them put the door in room 1?
Yes.
The infant door,
That's what I was just gonna say.
infant room,
May not be
and
sprinkled.
then have communicating doors for 2 and 3
I was gonna say.
that give them access to the immediate exterior door or the hallway door.
And still not be sprinkled, right?
And still not be sprinkled.
I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah. I am too.
Are you hearing our conversation?
No.
So I think our trade-off for you would be to do an exterior door in your infant room so that they have direct access to the outside in an emergency. And then communicating doors between 1, 2, and 3 that give them the option of either going through the hallways or through the rooms to get to the outside. So you'd be putting in 1 exterior door instead of 3. And then 2 interior doors.
That makes sense to me. Sounds practical.
I'll make the motion to do that.
Would there be any conditions to the interior doors and as far as like signage or blocking them?
Yes, they have to be accessible and operational at all times.
Swing in the exit.
People should.
And they should swing in the direction of travel towards the exterior exit door.
With lighted signs above them.
Anything else you want to throw in
I'm just trying to figure out what the cost of adding this door is. About half the cost of the tennis, probably.
there? You don't want to be sprinkler in those 3 rooms.
I don't know, you could hire somebody. Pretty inexpensive.
We have our own maintenance guys. They've estimated it'll cost us $4,000 to put one exterior door in. And they'll do the work, so.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, Commissioner Cook?
Wait, did you say 4,000 per door?
No, for the exterior. For the exterior. The one exterior door.
And they could do it less expensive than that, so.
Then why not just throw in 3?
It's just security issues, the bigger kids will try to get out. Sneak out.
Oh, like top. Okay.
Like.
That, and you also have the access point for the exterior for active shooter and whatever. So it's another door that has to be secured.
Yes.
All right, Commissioner Chris?
Yes.
Commissioner Davidson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Chairman?
Yes.
Mr. Kane?
Yes.
Mr. Federino?
Yes.
Vice Chairman?
Yes.
Mr. Porter?
Yes.
Mr. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
State conditions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The doors. Yep.
All right, next up, we have 240544 A, B, and C, North American Cold Storage Woodburn.
Yeah, so this has 3 parts to it. The first part is to delete a sprinkler system. Fire alarm provided. The second one is to delete the rooftop vents for the freezer storage area. And the next one, they want to reconfigure the egress doors when you don't have a sprinkler system and require 100 feet on center. They want to reconfigure that.
And RentSync, RTM Consultants, is Christina's project. She is at College
Hey,
Station.
Ed,
Yes.
I'm actually here. I've got a little bit of a break, but I can't access the applications or anything. So I'll just give them the rundown and then maybe you can help out questions if I can't hear.
Sounds good.
Sorry, I apologize. I'm at my son's orientation for college today. So already stressed out. He's my last. This is North American Cold Storage. This is phase 5. So we have 4 buildings up there and we've done these kind of in partial succession. For those of you new to the commission, we have an issue with freezer warehouses. We have this issue across the country. This isn't like a cold storage warehouse, but it's an actual freezer warehouse. Anything below 0, this one particularly is at -20. When we introduce sprinkler systems into a -20 environment, it causes all sorts of special problems for us. And doesn't provide the protection that we really need for these type of facilities. We have other options, other things that happen also with the heating, the venting, and then the means of fire department access. So in general, we go through a whole performance-oriented design in other parts of the country. These ones have been around. I think 2015 was the first one that we got for this group of facilities for North American Cold Storage. So what they do in theirs particularly, understand that the freezer environment is regulated by OSHA. The employees are only allowed to stay in there for a small period of time and have to check back in at the facility. So they go in and out. So you're talking 2 to 3 people in the actual warehouse portion of the facility. So the problems that we have with the moisture is for our smoke and heat vents. Smoke and heat vents are technology from the 1960s, and we haven't really improved it. If we tried to provide additional insulation on them, they do not open. Even if we don't provide additional insulation in humid environments, they tend to freeze up and they do not open. The other thing, when they're not in use, is that they create icicles that fall and cause other issues in the facility. And then we also have to test those devices, and to test them in the freezer warehouse would lower our temperature in the warehouse environment to something that's unacceptable by the FDA, and therefore would violate storage of food. And we would have to, we have problems with that. So testing becomes a problem, which means we're not operating them on a regular basis. So they just really don't work. At these particular facilities, what they do is they mark out a section of the exterior freezer wall, which is an insulated metal panel, that there's nothing on the other side, so that if the fire department needs to vent it, they do have to make access through the wall. The fire department that we're working with there has been through the training programs on this and is pretty aware of everything that happens. It's one of their really biggest facilities in the area. The next problem is with sprinklers. In the building code, it admits that a freezer warehouse is a S2 occupancy and doesn't require automatic sprinkler protection. As soon as you move into the high-rise chapter, it doesn't have that exception. So we do have to sprinkler these under the code as an S2 occupancy in and of itself. It doesn't need to be sprinklered. It's the high piled storage that makes that happen. There are systems that are good for cold storage that are specifically designed for it. Those systems still have issues in our freezer warehouses. We've tried them. We still have the same problems that we do with getting ice plugs or freezer breaks. The interesting thing about freezer warehouses is that the insurance companies are actually against providing sprinklers in those. There's been a lot of white papers and a lot of research that's been done since the early 2010s, because if we have a fire in a freezer warehouse, the entire freezer warehouse really needs to be taken down. It contaminates the food products and it damages the insulated panels. So it's a come down. If we actually have a fire, it's a come down. If we have a water leak, we also have the same problem. It contaminates the food products and it does damage to the systems. So we get to this situation where we're applying for the variance to not have a sprinkler system, to not have the smoke and heat vents. The third variance addresses one of the things that we do to aid the fire department in search and rescue if they do have to access the facility. We are keeping track of the employees in the facility, so we do know if they are in and out of the building. Like I said, there's not a lot of them. So our first step is to make sure that we don't have people trapped in the building. And if we do, we want to change the doors. The 100-foot on center that we have is kind of just an arbitrary number, but when you're in a storage warehouse, it doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense to provide those doors on all four sides equally. If the storage is running, the storage racks are running north to south, the doors that we put on the wall that have the storage aisle running perpendicular to them, then all enter the same aisle. So what we do is we take those extra doors that would all be entering the same aisle. We make sure that we have doors at the four corners of our cross aisles, so that the fire department, if they're in there and need to get out, can go to any cross aisle and go in either direction and they'll reach a door. And then the other doors we specifically place along the storage racks from the loading dock and from the other exterior side, that if you needed to, access into, you can actually open those doors and take a look in and have a good idea of what's going on in the warehouse and where it's happening. We do want to keep our fire departments out of these buildings if there's a fire event, because in a sprinkler building, we actually have rack collapse very early due to the extra weight of the water. And this occurs even in an accidental discharge. So we don't really want to put them in there if at all possible. If we do put them in there, we want to make sure that we have quick and easy way outs, which gets us to the third variance on those. So for this particular facility, I think this is the 8th time that we're appearing for the same variances. It does differ from facility to facility, but this is the one that's been worked out with the local fire department, and they are still in support of these variances and haven't had any trouble. This one we do add a fire alarm system within the area, so they do have horns and strobes, so if there is an alarm condition, they will get that notification as well.
Do you have anything from the local fire department there, the East Central?
No, and if you go back in the files, you'll see stuff on the other sprinkler applications, but this is just a volunteer fire department.
No, not anymore. It's a fire district.
Okay, so it's the same people though, and
no, it's different.
like I said, the owners have talked to them. The owners have talked to them throughout this process and they've been in the review process with this particular facility. So no, as usual, we've asked them to fill out the forms. Jim, it's not always easy to get to the forms and fill them out. So I mean, that's where we are. But again, this is the phase 5. In phase 5, some of the buildings are done in 2 stages. So it's a project that's been going on since 2015. So we've been building these and occupying them for 10 years. And they have a good working relationship with the fire departments and haven't run into any problems.
This entire building is at the -20 temperature.
The freezer section is, the loading docks are at, they're below 32, but they're not at freezer temperature. So they're cold storage.
The entire building will be non-sprinkled.
Correct.
And the only reason we required to be sprinkled because of my dog must storage. Would need as the building itself. But only because it's food products that are inside there that are considered that way. Storage.
Yeah,
That's fine.
they're classified as class 1 and 2 commodities. And then they're, aside from the additional, is that they're frozen. So the temperature to ignition is actually, we have a 90 to 100 degree window. We have to actually melt them, before we can ignite them.
All I cared about was that the local fire department, which is a East Central Fire District, has been very top. Because it has changed over the years to a fire district rather than just a volunteer. They have paid personnel now.
How many people could be in there at one time again?
It's 2 to 4 employees.
And they're tracked.
And they're monitored by the OSHA standards. So they have to check in and out. I think it's on 15-minute intervals to make sure that they're more worried about them getting frozen or something. So they have to come out, warm up, and then go back in. But they have to keep a log to make sure that they're continuously aware of where they are.
We have more issues now. Ammonia, weeds for those systems, and fire issue.
Yeah.
So the fire issue in our freezer warehouse is interesting. In modern warehouses, we really haven't had enough fires to determine. Most of our old fires were based on the combustible refrigerant, which we no longer have. And then the other big issue in our freezer warehouses was the combustible installation. So this freezer warehouse, like all of them now, use an FM panel, which has the fire retardant insulation between the 2 metal sleeves and has a very low flame spread rating, class A, and a low smoke development below 240. And it's isolated. They used to just be, back in the old day, even when I started, they were wood structures with polyurethane foam stapled to the walls. So we did have some historically bad freezer warehouse fires, but currently we don't see, we haven't had enough to really document a specific problem that we're not already addressing.
I will make a motion to approve A, B, and C. That at 3.
Second.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only thing I want to do is just make sure that the locals, I know you said you've spoken to them, I want to make sure that they've gotten that address, that they know that. Other than that. But yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Services recused, Commissioner Height,
Yes.
Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Bennington.
Yes.
Commissioner Pellegrino,
Yes.
Vice Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Porter,
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner.
Yes.
Commissioner Sacks.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You have Rose Almond?
Pardon me?
Have you Rose Almond as well?
Yeah, but Roger's got to leave, so.
Oh,
Yeah,
Will you have to ask for Roger?
I'm after Roger, yeah, I'm sorry. If you wanted to do it first, that's fine with me.
I think you have until noon, right? Roger?
Yeah.
So I think we could hear.
Mine won't take.
Famous last. one.
Well, we're pushing them away.
All right, EHS. 24/5/45.
This is a variance to eliminate fire dampers for duct penetrating the floors. A fire stop system around it can be used, and the shafts are rated.
Ed Rensink, RTM Consultants. You've got a lot of plan view stuff I sent originally, but if I had asked Denise to upload something yesterday that I think will be more useful. It's the last attachment that gives a section kind of a diagram thing, and I marked it up, and I think that'll help explain it. So the variance is from section 717.6.1. That section has an exception that allows you to connect. Well, it says you can penetrate 3 floors. And it's kind of up to debate as to whether that means you connect 3 floors or you can actually penetrate 3 floor levels and connect 4. The design engineer for this project has taken the more strict interpretation of that and saying, well, I can only connect 3 floors. So basically what they're doing is, would be shown in this diagram, is that the exception allows you to run these ducts within a wall cavity as long as each one only serves 1 unit, and that's what we have. And that doesn't require any shaft protection or fire damage. So if we had a 3-story building, we were doing this, I wouldn't be here. Arguably, maybe a 4-story, that's why I said at least, but at any rate, what they've done then is and these all originate in the basement. So they're running, these are fresh air ducts for each of the dorm rooms. So they will run these up in wall cavities to the 1st floor and the 2nd floor. And that's fine. The code allows that. For the ducts that go to the 3rd floor and the 4th floor, they're enclosing those in 2-hour rated shafts. So I've highlighted that on the detail you've got. Those are 2-hour rated shafts. Again, this is diagrammatic, so this isn't, it just shows you where ducts go. In reality, you've got individual 2-hour shafts for each one of those little ducts. So it's a lot of shafts, a lot of ducts, 88 of them. So 44 of them go to the 3rd and 4th floor. So what we are doing in very simple terms, where those exit those 2-hour shafts, we are doing a UL listed fire stop system instead of a fire damper. So they're protected. It's just there's not enough room to get fire dampers in there and be able to. If you have a fire damper, you have to have access doors. You have to be able to get to them. They have moving parts, so they require maintenance. The fire stop system, they can just put that in and it's done. So it's actually, in this case, I would argue it's maybe a better form of protection because it doesn't require any maintenance. It's done. You can't do this with any old duct. It's just that because a UL listed fire stop system per UL 1479 isn't going to work on an 8-inch duct or something like that. It's going to work only on very small ducts where the fire stop mechanism will do what it's supposed to do, which is close up that opening in a fire condition. So we're basically just substituting the UL listed fire stop system for the fire dampers in those locations on the 3rd and the 4th floor where they exit the 2-hour shafts. And the building is sprinklered for NHPA 13, non-combustible construction. We have some other things, but that's basically the relevant facts.
So is there a separation in the basement or they all come off of this one air handling unit?
They would go into individual shafts from the basement.
Okay, because it says in the email that Joe sent to you that they're pulling one duct per resident room, but they're going from a single area unit.
Right, so they would enter into it, each into their own shaft in there.
I mean, is there like a manifold down in the bottom? I mean.
That's what they're showing.
Yeah, Joe, you're there, is that you,
I am.
Joe?
Yes, I am. I'm on the call.
Okay, this is the design engineer. I'll let him maybe elaborate on that.
Yeah, so from the basement, we have one single air handler. It's for ventilation air for the entire building. We do have distribution duct down in the basement area, but then it acts as a manifold where we branch off each with a 4-inch round duct that, as mentioned, goes up into its own rated shaft. There is a 2-hour shaft membrane on the top and bottom of each of these shafts, so it's fully enclosed 2-hour construction.
All of the ducts are basically connected together at one.
Yeah, in the basement, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that when they penetrate floors, then there's rules that apply to that. So we have a 2-hour shaft for them where they enter into the, where they go to the 3rd and 4th floor.
And you believe this is more cost effective than putting larger ducts and dampers?
Yeah. Yeah, this is a lot of ducts that there's no way, there's not enough room for larger ducts and dampers.
Then
And I don't think that's even as good as I'm not convinced that would be any better than what's proposed. This is really an alternative
How
design.
does the fire stop actually operate? Is it like an intumescent ring inside the duct?
Correct.
Yeah, I don't have the specific number on hand, but because of the size of the diameter of the duct, we're allowed to basically run that duct through the penetration with an intumescent around in the space around the ductwork in the annular space.
Yeah, I mean, you're allowed to penetrate a firewall with a metal duct with fire stop, but it's the chase that's the issue. Correct?
That's correct, although it depends on, the code talks about vents versus ducts. I think if you look at a duct, there's a misconception that you can do a fire stop system for a duct. There really isn't any code mandated provision that allows that. With rare exception, there are a few exceptions, but yes, you're right. I mean, it is the shaft construction in this case that's primarily the issue. That's right.
And this is metal duct all the way.
Correct. 4-inch metal.
It's continuous, does not open any other floors. It's continuous from the origin in the basement all the way up to the space that it serves, and each duct serves a single space.
Make a motion to approve. Go ahead, if you still have a question.
I think that was just Joe starting to talk, so he stopped.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I wasn't saying anything. I'm sorry.
How large are the shafts?
I'm sorry?
How large are the shafts?
I mean, interior dimension wise, they're probably 3 foot by 1 foot.
You're running multiple pipes in one shaft.
Yes.
4th floor would be smaller than the 3rd floor, et cetera, et cetera.
And how are you sealing the 1st floor ceiling in the basement? So that if there's a fire in the basement, it doesn't go up the shaft.
It's a 2 hour drywall construction, a membrane.
And so the pipes going up the shaft are then sealed in that, correct?
Correct. Yes, that's correct.
So you got that covered also.
Yes.
Sounds good to me then.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Chris,
Yes.
Mr. Davidson,
Yes.
Commissioner Height,
Yes.
Chairman,
Yes.
Mr. Panicky,
Yes.
Mr. Patarino,
Yes.
Vice Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Porter,
Yes.
Mr. Wagner,
Yes.
Mr. Zane.
Yes. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.
We did this purposely to keep you smart.
Yeah, 14 minutes.
What is the parking garage I'm in? It's $50 if I go past noon too.
Oh.
I mean, it's $50 now. And if I go past,
But if you have to come back next month, it'd be another $52.
I'll stay in the hotel.
I'll meet all that room.
All right, I did run the R3 through the chapter 34. Of course, it scores a little better than R2, R1 because there's less restrictions.
So we just need to update it again to the R3 section.
It has been done.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve.
And I'll send a finished copy after, when I get home.
I'll make a motion to approve based on R3 occupancy and chapter 34 score. That passes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, did we get a second?
A second.
Okay, thanks. Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Chris,
Yes.
Mr. Davidson,
Yes.
Commissioner Height,
Yes.
Chairman,
Yes.
Mr. Panicky,
Yes.
Mr. Patarino,
Yes.
Vice Chairman,
Yes.
Mr. Porter,
Yes.
Mr. Wagner,
Yes.
Mr. Zane.
Yes.
You got 12 minutes to get to your car.
Thank you, guys. Have a great one.
All right. All right. Just a couple more quick items. We do have one third-party renewal. That is for your ICC NTA LLC. I don't believe the staff has any objections to this.
No, IDHS in the fire marshal's office supports the renewal.
Move to renew.
Second.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Mr. Chris,
Yes.
Mr. Davidson.
Yes.
Mr. Height,
Yes.
Chairman,
Yes.
Mr. Panicky,
Yes.
Mr. Patarino,
Yes.
Vice Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Porter,
Yes.
Mr. Wagner.
Yes.
Mr. Zane.
Yes.
That is approved. We have one non-final order from OALP that requires commission action. That one's Ronald David Heiser versus City of Goshen. Everybody have a chance to read that. Anybody have any questions?
You just need a motion to affirm.
Yeah.
Move to affirm.
Okay. Okay. All right, Commissioner Cook?
I'm sorry,
We're affirming the OLP's decision
that the respondent agreed to.
Yeah. I can't hear what you're asking, but before you have to.
I'm asking, what are we doing?
Yeah, so, yeah. So like, the OLP issued an order, they granted summary judgment in favor of the respondent in this matter, patient versus respondent. You guys are the ultimate authority on it, so it comes to you guys. The parties in the matter have an opportunity within 15 days to preserve an objection, which would be relevant for judicial review at your guys' action. In the absence of an objection, you guys are required, and you shall affirm the order unless you guys give notice to the parties that you intend to review any issue in the order. So in the absence of you guys wanting to review any issue that the ALJ ruled on in the absence of an objection, you could take action here, but we have to give notice to both parties to then come be present in front of you guys. So in the absence of wanting to do anything with the order, It's just a shall affirm provision in AOPA, which is the Administrative Orders and Procedures Act.
Thank you. So, yes.
Okay, Mr. Chris?
Yes.
Mr. Davidson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Chairman?
Yes.
Commissioner Kane?
Yes.
Mr. Patriano?
Yes.
Vice Chairman?
Yes.
Commissioner Porter?
Yes.
Mr. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Singh?
Yes.
We also have one pending non-final order. The objection period for that one runs through June 5th, which is tomorrow. EHS has filed an objection in that one, but there's no action that you need to take at this time. Couple other cases on there just for your information. If you have any questions about those, just email me. We can give you more information. And that is all that I have.
All right. Really? So the next meeting will be Tuesday, July 2nd.
Yep.
For the hotel. We have a good month. Should I adjourn? 9 a.m.
Yeah, 9 a.m.
Which is second to the That was a quick one.
Yeah, shit. We adjourned. Goodbye.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Early and then I was like, I'm not gonna. We were down there, I said before, and then the white one, we're here late, I was a little good.